Good day, everyone. I'm here to talk to you about my just released book, which is called Fixing Science in India, a Socio-Economic Prescription. Now, the two important words here are fixing and prescription. So, fixing means something is broken. So that's why you have to fix it. Now, prescription is usually given for somebody who has a disease or something. Otherwise, you don't talk about prescriptions. You get a prescription when you go to the doctor. So, actually, this whole business about science in India is broken and it is in a diseased condition. So, this book outlines the problems and also gives the prescription, dawa. So, sort of, I'm a doctor. I'm also a doctor because I got PhD. That's different. So, now what made me write the book? What was the initial spark? They usually say about books, the book has to be somewhere inside you, then it will come out and all that. But in this particular case, I don't know if there was a particular spark because I have been in Indian science now for 45 years as an independent researcher. And I think over the years, people say I've become somewhat famous doing this science in India. So I've been seeing this Indian science for 45 years and I did not like what I saw. The way it was being run, the way it was being conducted, and the fact that given the brilliance and genius and intellectual knowledge of Indians, how is it that we could not realize this spark in the output of the science that was obtained? So, this feeling was gradually growing. There was no spark to write the book. It happened very, very gradually over at least, well, not 45 years, but at least the last 30 years, I've been quite concerned about this. And now that I am emeritus status and not running a big research group, I thought this may be the time to put all my thoughts together and about this science. And in fact, if you look at the book a little bit, you see it covers the whole period between 1835 to 2025. That is total of 190 years. Okay. So the story of Indian science did not start just now. It started in 1835 with what is called the Macaulay Memorandum. When this English person called Macaulay, he came and he disturbed the whole education system of our country. And all the bad effects of this Macaulay Memorandum is where the book starts. Now, the book is long, it's 500 pages plus. So, what is the single most important question? I already little bit that this book tries to ask. I've already mentioned why is it that with so much of individual brilliance, excellence, the quality of the Indian mind is very good. Huh? Let me be very clear. Young men and young women, older men and older women, I have traveled to almost 50, 60 countries in the world. And I'm not speaking out of prejudice. I still feel Indians are very clever, very smart, and very resourceful. So, how is it that such a group of people could not achieve things in science? So, that is the single most important point, and this is what the book tries to address. The fact that in the 1950s and 1960s, we got into a system where there was no money in the country. India was very poor. So, very little money was available for science because there were many big problems like health, mortality, you know, quality of living, no education. We were very, very poor because the British had completely bankrupted us in 200 years when they were here. So, in this situation where there is no money, very little money was available for science. What happened? A few people got hold of this limited money. They become the gatekeepers. They grabbed all the money and they prevented everybody else from coming into science. So, we call in this book actually Jati. So, this gatekeeper Jati. And this Jatitva is deeply ingrained in our society. It was there not only in science, but also in politics, also in economics, also in industry, everywhere. So, Jatitva generally happens when a small group tries to get some monetary advantage for itself. And this is exactly what happened in science. So, as a result, once you are getting into this Jatitva, then all the other people who are not from the Jati are kept out. And this is what exactly what happened in our science. So, this book is the most important point is this, that the fact that a very small group of scientists grabbed all the money. Then what happens? Next step. Once you do like this, then the people you encourage will be only substandard, mediocre, because you want their loyalty. So gradually, these people initially they might have been okay in science. Gradually, they started encouraging people who are not so good because they wanted their loyalty. Then the next group will hire the next group. So first grade person will hire second grade person. Second grade will hire third grade. Third grade will hire fourth grade. So now in India, after 70 years of this Jatitva in science, we have got some 10th grade, 11th grade people who are still grabbing all the money. So this book is all about this. Therefore, when we come to the unique perspectives of this book, many books you have been written about science, but nobody has addressed the root cause. They just say something which is not very, to my mind. Oh, they'll say J.C. Bose was very great, C.V. Raman was very great, Meghnad Saha was very great. How come we are not so great? See, this is not going to help the young scientist of today. If you go on telling him C.V. Raman got Nobel Prize, he is not interested. C.V. Raman got the Nobel Prize 90 years ago. Again and again, we go on talking about C.V. Raman, Meghnad Saha, J.C. Bose. This is not the way in which you address the young person. Young scientist wants to know what is happening. And so there are no books of my type. The first book of this type, where people are actually pointing out the disease and they also give a prescription. What is the prescription? There are certain things where we have to give the prescription slowly, like a homeopathic dose. Then there are other things where we need a quick solution. Then you have to do a drastic prescription. Now, suppose you have got some allergy which is going on and on and on. That is called a chronic disease. So, Indian science has got some chronic diseases. For that, it needs slow medicine. On the other hand, there is some disease like, so for example, appendicitis. If you got appendicitis, you cannot give a gradual medicine. You got to go and do immediate surgery. Otherwise, the patient will die. So there are certain parts of our disease of Indian science where you need slow cure, and there are certain parts which need quick cure. So we distinguish in the science disease itself which needs slow and which needs fast. When it needs slow, you cannot do fast. When it needs fast, you cannot do slow. So somebody has to be very careful what you do, otherwise the whole thing will fall on your head. The initial response to my book seems to be very good. Okay, it has been now on sale in Amazon, I think, for about 10 days. And Amazon price is not falling, which means people are buying. So why they are buying? Everybody wants to see it. Old scientists, middle-aged scientists, young scientists. I brought 10 copies of me to where I am located now in Bidoli, near Dehradun, where I'm in UPES University. I brought 10 copies and all of them sold out within 2 days. More copies are coming. We are having a big book launch here on the 21st. And I'm sure people will be interested because they want to know. People in India want they have problems. Scientists have problems. Young scientists are having good PhDs, good postdocs. They are not getting jobs. When they go for the job, only people from the Jati are getting jobs. People who are outside the Jati are not getting jobs still. So these Jati people are sitting in various selection committees and only appointing their Jati people. So this whole thing has to stop. And it has to stop. It can only stop right from the top. There is no point pretending we are great. C.V. Raman got Nobel Prize. J.C. Bose was almost got the Nobel Prize. G.N. Ramchandran almost got Nobel Prize. See, all this talk about Nobel Prize and all must stop, okay? We are just living in the past. We must have a reality check. This book pours a bucket of cold water on everybody's head. So you please go there, buy the book, read it, talk to your friends, discuss it, criticize it. If you don't like something I have said, send me an email. I will happily reply. Don't just sit in Twitter and just start saying, great, sir, great, sir. That's no good. Go and buy the book first. See what I have to say. We must increase the discussion on all these topics. And I hope that you will have a happy time reading this book because at least somebody for the first time is saying what is wrong with Indian science. Indian science means don't just start saying Chandrayaan and all, Mangalyaan and all that. That is also okay, that's going on. But most of it is not so much okay because we don't have any pure science. If there is no pure science, there is no technology, there is no engineering, there is no material benefit, there is nothing, there is no money, and then we will not become a powerful country. We will always become a doormat of China and America. So this has to stop. It has to stop very quickly. I think the crisis of science is very serious today. And I hope that readers of this book will find something here for them to think about, chew about, and talk about to each other. So, all the very best, all of you. And let me know if you have any questions and doubts. Thanks a lot and have a great day.